What if I told you that a book written more than 70 years ago could predict mass surveillance, fake news, and the manipulation of truth in today's world? George Orwell's 1984 is not just a novel, it's a warning, a mirror, and in many ways a prophecy. It speaks about a world where the government controls not only what you do, but also what you think and even what is real. In this video, we will go deep into the world of 1984. We will break down the story, explore its unforgettable characters, understand its symbols, and uncover why it feels more relevant today than even before. So stick around till the end, because once you enter Orwell's world, you will never see your own the same way again. Before we step into the novel's dark corridors, let's understand where it came from. George Orwell, whose real name was Eric Arthur Blair, published 1984 in 1949. The world had just survived 2 world wars, seen the horrors of fascism under Hitler, and was now witnessing the rise of communism under Stalin. Orwell, having fought in the Spanish Civil War and experienced propaganda firsthand, was deeply concerned about the future of freedom and truth. 1984 is his chilling vision of a future where totalitarianism, the absolute control of people by the state, reaches its most extreme form. It's not about one specific country, but a warning about what could happen anywhere if power goes unchecked. The world of 1984. The novel is set in Airstrip 1, formerly known as Britain, which is now a province of Oceania, one of the 3 superstates constantly at war. The other 2 are Eurasia and East Asia. Life here is grim. There's no privacy. Every home and street is watched by telescreens, devices that can see and hear you at all times. The government is personified in Big Brother, whose posters declare, "Big Brother is watching you." The ruling political group is called the Party, divided into the powerful inner party, the obedient outer party, and the poor masses known as the proles. The party's control is absolute. It doesn't just monitor your actions, it aims to control your thoughts through something called newspeak, a language designed to limit freedom of expression and doublethink, the act of holding 2 contradictory beliefs at the same time. Plot summary. Our protagonist is Winston Smith, a 39-year-old outer party member working at the Ministry of Truth. His job? To rewrite history. If the party changes its stance on an event, Winston alters old newspaper articles so it appears the party was always right. The past is constantly being rewritten, making it impossible to know the real truth. But Winston is not a loyal follower. Secretly, he hates the party and dreams of rebellion. He begins keeping a diary, a thought crime punishable by death. One day, he meets Julia, a young woman who works in the fiction department. She slips him a note that says, "I love you." In a world where love is forbidden unless approved by the party, their relationship is a dangerous act of defiance. They meet secretly, finding moments of intimacy and freedom. Eventually, Winston and Julia are approached by O'Brien, a high-ranking inner party member who Winston believes is part of a resistance group called the Brotherhood. O'Brien gives them a book, supposedly written by Emmanuel Goldstein, the party's most hated enemy. explaining the principles of the rebellion. But it's all a trap. Winston and Julia are arrested by the thought police and taken to the Ministry of Love, where there is no love at all, only torture and brainwashing. In room 101, Winston faces his worst fear: rats. Under unbearable pressure, he betrays Julia, screaming for the torture to be done to her instead. His spirit is broken. In the final scene, Winston sits in a cafe, hollow and emotionless. He sees a news announcement declaring a victory for Oceania. Tears fill his eyes, not of sorrow, but of devotion. The party has won. Winston loves Big Brother. Main characters: Winston Smith, the everyman figure who questions the system but is ultimately crushed by it. His journey shows the difficulty of resisting overwhelming power. Julia, a rebel in her own way, driven by personal freedom more than political ideology. She represents a more practical, instinctive resistance. O'Brien, a chilling figure who pretends to be an ally but is actually a master manipulator working for the party. He embodies the deceptive nature of totalitarian systems. Big Brother, perhaps not even a real person, but a symbol of the party's omnipresent control. Emmanuel Goldstein, the face of the resistance, though his existence is uncertain. He could be just another tool of the party to control dissent. Key themes and ideas: totalitarianism and absolute power. Orwell shows us a world where the state has total control over every aspect of life, public and private, surveillance and privacy. The telescreens are an extreme version of CCTV and digital tracking today. Orwell warns that constant monitoring kills individuality. Manipulation of truth. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. By rewriting history, the party controls reality itself. Language as control. Newspeak. If you remove words, you remove the ability to think about certain ideas. Without the word freedom, can the concept of freedom survive? Psychological manipulation. Doublethink. The ability to accept two contradictory beliefs without question keeps citizens obedient and confused. Loss of individuality. Winston's transformation shows how oppressive systems aim to erase personal identity. Symbols in the novel. Big Brother, the ultimate symbol of surveillance and authority. Telescreens, the eyes and ears of the party representing loss of privacy. Room 101, the place where you meet your greatest fear, symbolizing the ultimate method of control. The glass paperweight, a fragile, beautiful object Winston treasures, representing the delicate nature of truth and memory. Rats, Winston's deepest fear, symbolizing the vulnerability of human resolve. Why 1984 still matters today. Even though 1984 is fiction, the issues it explores are frighteningly real. In the digital age, mass surveillance is easier than ever. Governments and corporations collect huge amounts of data about us. The concept of fake news mirrors Orwell's warnings about manipulated truth. Political spin, controlled media, and online echo chambers often distort reality. Social media algorithms can act like the party's propaganda, shaping that we see and believe. And just like in 1984, when enough people repeat a lie, it starts to feel like the truth. Orwell didn't just write a story, he wrote a manual on how freedom can die and how ordinary people can be broken by systems that seem too big to fight. But there's another way to read 1984 as a challenge. By understanding how control works, we can guard against it. By valuing truth, privacy, and free thought, we can resist the slide into a world where 2 plus 2 equals 5 because the party says so. If you haven't read 1984, I highly recommend picking it up. And if you have, read it again. You will see something new each time, especially in today's world. Orwell's message is simple: stay awake, question everything, and never forget Big Brother is always watching. This was a deep dive into 1984 by George Orwell. If you enjoyed this analysis, hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more in-depth book exploration. Until next time, stay curious and stay free.